Celebration time. It don't matter what part of the jewel you come from. You da you and me da me. But guess what? All are we the one. See what I mean? Jump and shout all over the nation. We're breaking out with a new creation.
Celebrated poet, novelist, and activist Maya Angelou said, "We delight in the beauty of the butterfly, but rarely admit the changes it has gone through to achieve that beauty." Our Belize Watch team visited the Tropical Wings Nature Center in San Jose Succotz, where we got an up-close and personal look at the transformation from an egg to a butterfly. The center is run by Tino Penados and his family. Join us for a tour of the center after we hear from our partners, the Barry, Shell Belize Limited, B&E Charitable Trust, and the National Gas Company.
Shell V-Power, with 3 times more cleaning and friction-reducing molecules. Go well. Go Shell. Since 2008, the Belize Natural Energy Charitable Trust has created opportunities for Belizeans to develop themselves and their communities. The Trust employs tools that are intuitive, collaborative, and accessible so that every Belizean is empowered to achieve their full potential. Over 200,000 Belizeans have been impacted because of our various initiatives. The Belize Natural Energy Charitable Trust, empowering Belizeans of today to create the Belize of tomorrow.
The National Gas Company Belize Limited project became a reality because Belizeans believed in the project and invested in its development, construction, and implementation. Equity financing for the project featured investments from local enterprises as well as one foreign investor. The public-private partnership structure of the project facilitated government's ownership of a 25% stake at no cost to the taxpayers. Debt financing for the project featured the successful launch of Belize's first ever project bonds, some $30 million financed by a cross-section of institutional investors. Investments came from credit unions, notably St. Francis Xavier Credit Union and Holy Redeemer Credit Union, insurance companies, pension funds, and commercial banks. In addition, the project managed to successfully secure some $12 million in debt financing from the IDB Invest. The IDB's participation in this debt financing is a testament to their belief in the environmental, social, and governance principles taken on by the developers of this project. This project is a testament to the growth and development of Belize's financial system. It shows confidence of Belizean investors to put their money behind homegrown and developed projects that contribute to our national development. I am proud of this project and I'm hopeful that there are many more like it to come.
The National Gas Company of Belize, fueling Belize forward.
We are the Barry, offering you great products, good service, and of course, the lowest prices in the entire country. Visit us in Belize City, Belmopan, San Ignacio Cayo, Orange Rock, and now in San Pedro, La Isla Bonita. The Barry. Get more? Piles.
Well, I'm back at the Butterfly Farm on the road to San Jose Succotz, and I'm happy to see Mr. Penados once again, Mr. Florentin Penados, known as Tino Penados, and along with him is his son-in-law, Hugo Castaneda.
Yes, sir.
And gentlemen, Florentine and Hugo, Tino and Hugo, I think better we do the Tino and the Hugo thing, right? We're good with that. Well, I remember when I came here the last time, I think it was about maybe 8 years ago, I visited with you. I saw what you were doing. I think you're doing a great job here in San Jose Succotz. There I saw your education center and all the efforts you're making to educate the people on the history of the flora and the fauna around us and the butterflies and what have you. It's been a long time, and in between that time, COVID came, and I'm sure that must have affected you greatly. But before I get into that, let's start to reminisce and go back to who is Tino Penados. Let's reestablish that here.
Well, I am Florentine Penados, better known as Tino. I am from the village of Succotz. I have been around for 62 years. I have done a lot of things during these years. Since I left primary school, I joined archaeologists to work in different sites. I was security of the Mosquito Coast movie. Joined the Belize Defense Force, and lately, start doing butterflies, which is about, I would say, more than 20 years now.
Yeah, about 20 years.
Yeah.
Calculations are correct, about 20 years. But what prompted you to move into the butterfly area?
Well, there was an opportunity because since I was working with archaeologists, one of the students' parents wanted to retire here in Belize. They were the ones with the idea of raising butterflies. I was looking like a new job, and what make it more attractive to me that they invite me to be their partners in this venture. So I took it, and then that's what made me start with the butterflies. And then, it's now like a hobby for me. I haven't stopped.
Yeah. For 20 years, you have been basically living off your hobby because I can recall you have a museum which inside, and you also have your butterfly area, the area where you raise the butterflies. And we'll be seeing all of that a little later on. I'm looking forward to that. Right? But Hugo?
Yes, sir. Well, my name is Hugo Castaneda. I joined the Treks Up team about 8 years ago, and we've been out here trying to help Mr. Tino because he's one of the pioneers of different businesses here in Belize. I know one of them being recent new sport here in Belize, disc golf. And I remember back in 1997, just growing up in Benque Viejo. The Treks Up was pretty much a stone throws away, and we would visit the butterfly farm from school, and I liked the place. Then I met my wife, Ms. Tino Penados, and that's how I got involved in what Mr. Penados is doing now. And we have been working with the disc golf aspect of the entire property, and there's an 18-basket disc golf course, and we have one of our main sponsors, or one of the main guys who has been pushing the sport here in Belize, Mr. Chris Leonard. He's a guy who moved in from the U.S. and has been living in Cerro Sands. We also have Mr. Graham Walker, and of course Mr. Tino Penados. So the disc golf course has been in existence here since 1997 when the lodge started, and we just recently started about 2.5 years ago pushing the disc golf heavy now. And I'm proud to say that now we have one of the locals going into the U.S. He's playing in the pro leagues now, Randy Doik from the Mennonite community of Spanish Lookout. So it's nice to see that the sport is growing here in Belize. And for us as locals here, we're trying to get together to make a little association, to promote the sport. And Team Treks Up is composed of 6 members. We also have different guys from other areas with their own courses, which of course it's growing, like I said. And now we have 6 courses in the entire country. So
6 such courses
total. Yeah, we have.
Some years when I came some years ago, I think yours was what, perhaps the only one?
That was the only one, yeah. So So we can proudly say that Mr. Tino was one of the guys who started disc golf here. Back in the days, it was mostly for the guests that stayed at the lodge, at the trek stop. But now we have, like I mentioned earlier, Mr. Chris Leonard from Corozal. So he has been directing a lot of tournaments here in Belize. He has his own course, Cerro Sands, and I would like whoever's watching us to take a visit up there. It's a very nice place. We also have in the Cayo District, we have Mr. Graham Walker. So he has Mullins River. He has his own course out there. And of course, the biggest supporters that we have is the Mennonite community. In Spanish Lookout, there's 2 courses. The Brooklyn Farm, or Target Plus, and we also have Countryside Park. I guess a lot of people in the Cayo District know the area. It's very beautiful. And recently we just heard of a new course that started in Belmopan City. So it's growing, it's getting there,
So how do you feel now looking at this growth, because last time, like I said, when I came, it's been about 8 years ago, it was something that nobody played in Belize, as far as I know. It was the first time I was seeing it. I think yours was the only one we knew about, right?
I think that what happened due to COVID also, this golf came and jumped in because it's a non-contact sport.
Yes, it's not.
So everybody wants to play disc golf now because it's the only thing that is easier to play now. Well, things are opening now again, no?
Yeah, this golf is non-contact. I can remember you teaching me to play it the last time when I visited you, and I totally enjoyed that. No, so COVID, and you also had a little hotel, a little. How does COVID treat you? I mean, you had to close down all that because of COVID, I take it, no?
Yeah, since COVID came and there was a lot of regulation that we had to go through, so we decided it never worked opening to the public, to guests. So we closed down completely, and it was very hard because that's our living also. No, we depend on incomes from tourists. So tourists stopped coming to Belize also. So nobody come to stay at my place. So we had to close down completely. So it really do affect us, and we are just trying to get back again on our feet.
You still had the expenses of taking care of the butterflies and making sure that they survived and so on. So you had to take on a lot of personal expense.
Yes, I mean, I am a retired person, but the only benefits is from Social Security, which is not great money. So from my pension, I have to find somebody to come and help me monthly, at least 1 or 2 days. So it's very hard. I have to do it myself, which is a lot of work.
Because you're mostly involved in the golf aspect of it, right?
Yeah, well, I'm 37 years old, but recently we started about 2.5 years ago pushing disc golf here in Belize. Like I said, it was Mr. Chris Leonard who had the idea of promoting it for locals, and it has been growing. We've had international players for different tournaments that we've played.
Were you not get involved with the butterflies and things like
that? I do sometimes. Before pre-COVID, we were doing a lot of school groups, and Mr. Tino and I would take different groups into the butterfly farm while I was doing maybe the breeding area. He was doing the aviary center. So we alternate.
So Tino, you have your breeding center in here, inside there where we'll go in a few, and then the farm next door. Yes. So I can't wait to see again, for you to remind me again of how you go about creating these beautiful butterflies, all right?
Well, I'm happy to show you around. I mean, I have butterflies to show you, and I know that you will enjoy being inside the garden.
Okay, well, let's just start to take a walk and see how a little, what you call it, the initial stage, what you call it?
Caterpillars.
Oh yeah, how the caterpillar turns into a butterfly, right? It's amazing. Butterfly is always amazing because it's just a caterpillar, and then it turns into a butterfly. How does that magic happen?
Well, we will able to see inside there to show you how it goes from one stage to the other.
Okay, let's go. Well, Tino and Hugo, we have moved inside, and you have quite a lab in here from what I'm seeing, because I couldn't help but when I walked in to look around, because I can remember in here is also a museum, but it's also your breeding ground for the larvae and the caterpillars and what have you that lead up to these beautiful butterflies. So let's walk through what you have in here.
Okay, this, as you could see on the walls, this is a museum, but we are changing things around, making it more attractive for kids also. So we have that's the reason why we brought the breeding area at the beginning also. Before seeing the butterflies, you start how they start.
Okay. So when you talk about for the kids, and so do you get school trips coming around, and how active are children and students in visiting your area?
Well, I would say that before COVID, well, we have been here for, as I said, more than 20 years. So before COVID, a lot of school groups from around the country have visited the trek stop from down south, Holy Redeemer in Belize City, Orange Walk, Corozal, from all over. So we have a special price for kids, or sometimes we don't even charge them at all, because what we want is them to learn what we have here in Belize. So they are local, and we want to promote the butterflies. So the importance of butterfly being around us. So that's what we teach them every time they come around here.
What's the price per visit?
Well, what we are charging is $10 Belize for adults, and half price for kids, 12 above, no, or under, I would say.
Like this happen for students, you end up just opening up.
When they come and then they call us from schools, we don't charge. And if we charge, on the past we used to charge $1 per kid. And their parents also would take advantage and pay only $1. So if they want to come again with their family, but that changes.
All right, so let's start looking at what you have here and where do we start?
Okay.
We're going to for this thing too?
Yes.
Yeah, well then feel free for voting, Hugo.
Yeah, well, like what he was saying earlier, it's glad to see that school kids are getting back to normal life, And actually this morning we had preschoolers from Benque Viejo. We're starting back, and it's glad to see that everything's going back to normal life, And what we're starting to do here now is that Mr. Tino normally goes on a daily basis, because most of the time I'm out of the property. So Mr. Tino and his wife and my wife also, they go around in the aviary center where the butterflies are flying. And they normally go ahead and pick out eggs, from the different host plants, because each butterfly has a host plant where they lay their eggs. So that's the initial task of the day, So you go around, choose all the eggs that you want to bring into the breeding area, and that's how we start with that's why you see a lot of little cups out here. Okay. So if you want Mr. Tino start the process, or I can do it as well.
Okay. I noticed here this one says egg and milkweed.
Yeah, egg and milkweed plants, So, but that's
Okay, what we have in here is eggs that belongs to the caligo memnon, or the owl butterfly. So these are the eggs. This is how they start.
As small as that, right?
Small, but
each one of these would be a butterfly.
Yes, at the end it will be a butterfly. But before turning into butterfly, they have to go through their stages. So after the egg would be the caterpillar.
So the butterfly would lay the eggs under a leaf on the leaf, and then
feel free to hold one so that you can get the actual experience.
Yeah. I can pick up two.
It's okay.
This is extremely small.
Okay, as you are saying that.
So you have to go on each other leaves and pick them. Okay.
They are small, but I would say that this is the biggest egg that the butterfly lays, because yeah.
That's one of the bigger species.
Okay,
So looking at the adult butterflies, that's one of the bigger species that you will see.
Okay.
That's why they lay bigger eggs. Some of them are very, very tiny, so that it's difficult to find them on the
This
plants.
is, you know.
This one it's visible. You can see it there.
Yeah.
You can actually touch it. It's hard shell as well.
Yeah. It's a hard shell, yeah. So put it back in here. Okay. So those are the eggs. Those were harvested maybe this morning.
This was a
No,
couple of
no.
days ago.
This is been here for a while. I will show you inside the garden how they look when they are just laid. Yeah, this is old already.
Okay.
Okay, and normally eggs will stay as egg for 10 days maximum. Then they will hatch into caterpillars.
10 days as eggs. So these eggs, after 10 days,
They will hatch.
into caterpillars. So 10 days from now, I should see caterpillars
Caterpillars.
out of those.
Yeah, and then this is what we normally do. We set their host plant inside the cup, so that they start feeding on the host plant.
So this house plant is where the eggs were laid,
Yes,
right?
pretty much. Yeah.
So you take the eggs first, put them there, then
Then
you,
we get different leaves,
and,
fresh
and,
leaves,
and
and we put it in there when they first hatch. So
Uh-huh.
what we need to remember
Okay.
is that whenever we have a fresh caterpillar hatching out of one of those eggs that we showed you earlier, the first meal would be its own eggshell, so that it can sustain itself for a few hours.
so it eats its own shell.
Yes, that's the first meal that they would have. Then we go into trying to get some fresh leaves for them.
So what's happening here?
They're
These
feeding
are
on the
three.
same leaf. You can see the little cuts on,
Yeah, I
on
see
the edge
it.
of the leaf. Okay, and we have different little caterpillars on the leaf as well.
Yeah. Yeah, they're feeding right here. Okay. So this goes back in here.
Yeah, that stays in there for a while, a few days.
How long?
How long would you keep him there?
Well, this is the longest. They depends on the species of butterflies. So it varies from one species to the other. There's some take longer than others.
Okay.
This is the
That's the caterpillar.
caterpillar for the owl butterfly.
For this one.
Okay.
For these eggs here.
So these would be the same, right?
Yeah, these are the same. But when they are looking this color, they are close to turn into a chrysalis or a pupa.
Okay. So this caterpillar, can you hold it?
Sure,
Yeah, it's
sure.
very safe to human touch.
Okay. Interesting. Give Chris a hold. There we go. And so it keeps moving.
These caterpillars, they feed at night. So during the day, they're not moving at all. They are
Most
just
of the time
resting.
dormant.
Right now he's looking for food while wrapping around my fingers.
Yeah, what he's doing, he's spreading silk. They have a glands that they spread silk. They have suction cups and Velcro. So they have to spread silk so they can take a good grip, no?
So the
To
silk-
walk around.
and it would be the same silk that they make the silk cloth out of?
Yes, but they just produce in small quantities, not for commercial purposes.
But in other countries they would
Like in
commercialize
China,
it in China, right?
There's some moth that produces silk. That's what they use for doing threads and the sort of things, no?
So this would be the silk that caterpillar produces.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
very interesting, what we use that silk also for is that whenever we're doing the entire process in the breeding area, we use the same silk to attach the little pupas and pin them so that they can turn into the adult butterflies afterwards. So since they're not doing out the process in nature out there, so we need to get the silk. We collect the silk. So we use the same silk to hang the pupas. Yeah.
Yeah. So Chris, so this is silk. All right. So from the silk now we hang the pupa.
So
af-
what they do whenever they are ready to turn into a pupa, they would attach from the cremaster. The cremaster is the little head of the pupa, attached to the top of a paper that I place on the cup. And this is what they will become after being a caterpillar.
Okay. So the paper that you have on top of the cup there,
Yeah.
this
This will go-
caterpillar here will attach itself to that and becomes a pupa. That's what.
Yes, that's exactly what they do. And we know when they're about to turn into a a pupa because, as you could see, this is fading
Uh-huh.
compared to this one here.
Yeah, this one is bright and this one is fading.
Yeah.
Oh, here's one in transition.
Yeah, that's
This one is in transition. Oh, okay, so this is in transition to become that.
yes.
This, so it goes from here,
From there, touch
well, from that little egg to this,
this,
right?
and then to the pupa.
And then to this,
And then eventually to this.
and then eventually to that.
Yeah, and this is one of the smaller ones that we have here, but the species grow a lot bigger.
And it's amazing to see how they go from one stage when they're in on this stage, which is the pre-pupa stage, to this one. They will split their skin open, even their head capsule will split open. And then you could see here, I have on my hands the skin and the head.
That's the skin and the head.
Yes.
But that's not alive. That has no life. That's
It's
dead.
just when you remove your clothing. No? This-
Okay.
So when it sheds its skin, it turns into the
So
pupa.
it takes off. The head comes
So
off.
if by any
So
chance
in other words, it dies before it lives.
yeah. So if by any chance you were to want to do an experiment, because sometimes we have different parasites that that go into the egg as soon as they're hatched, when the eggshell is soft. So you have little sandflies that come around and inject their own eggs in there. So instead of having a caterpillar hatching out, you have a little sandfly flying out. You know. So so we have to be very careful whenever we have the fresh eggs on plants. So we try to pick them as soon as possible. So whenever that happens, then we have caterpillars that sometimes get infected, so they don't make it all the way through. And we want to always keep on understanding the process. You know what's going on whenever we don't have a full caterpillar turning into a chrysalis or into a pupa. So sometimes you want to split them and find out. You know, and inside in this particular pupa, it's all jelly substance.
That's all.
Yeah, the structure, it would be like the exoskeleton.
Yeah, because it has no head,
No head, no nothing. Yeah.
no nothing.
Yeah, so
Right.
this would hatch out of it afterwards. See,
But-
it would have the little worm, the little body here.
Yeah, but then it has a head when
abdomen
it
and
hatch.
thorax.
Where the head
Yeah.
come up.
So it's nature, you know, it's
That's
like a
nature.
little embryo, like a little
Nature,
embryo in
yeah.
there.
Yeah. So this. Yeah. Interesting. You got it?
So like Mr. Tino mentioned
This would
earlier,
go here, right?
you can just put it anywhere and then it will.
Okay. And then this one would go
Yeah.
here.
So let's wrap this around so it doesn't drop
So it
in.
doesn't drop in. Yeah. Because you don't want it to drop in and
No, you don't
and
want to
it's-
damage them because then
Then-
you kill them. You end up
Kill
killing
them,
them.
you
You know. So
damage
it's very important to be very delicate with them.
But this is very labor intensive to be doing this every day.
Takes
Yeah.
all day.
Because a butterfly has a certain amount of life, right? It doesn't.
They have average of 3 weeks lifespan as adult butterflies.
Okay. And then
Yeah, it's
then
it's,
it
it's
dies.
more time that they spend as a caterpillar than any other stage.
Huh. How much time they spend as a caterpillar?
Well, some of them, like the owl, spends 35 days just as a caterpillar.
Just as a caterpillar
the
munching.
And that would be this species.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is the local name for it is owl. And if you invert it, then you'll see the reason as to why they call it owl.
Yeah.
It has the face of a barn owl.
Owl, yeah.
And this is all a mechanism that they use to deter different predators in the wild. You know, so if you look at the face bigger than you, you know, so if you're a lizard looking down on it, up to it, it looks like
has the two eyes,
yeah.
but-
So if you look at it inverted,
It's
it looks
coming.
like a
It's like coming at you. See there? There's the owl. Right? There, the two eyes. And there's your owl. Right?
This is,
All,
defense
but that's his
mechanism that they
defense
use.
mechanism that the butterfly uses. So you're telling me 35 days as a caterpillar. How many days as a pupa?
14 days.
14 days as a pupa and
As a butterfly.
another butterfly,
yeah.
3 weeks as
an adult butterfly.
as an adult butterfly. So from egg to pupa to butterfly, 65 days. Yeah, I was trying to do the maths there. 65 days. 65 days is the average life of a butterfly.
Yeah, starting from
From egg.
egg to becoming a butterfly until it passes away.
But why would a butterfly just roll over and die in such a short space of a time. What would cause that to happen?
Well, I think that's nature.
I know it's
And
nature, but
some people would ask, I mean, what is the purpose of them being here?
Yeah.
I mean, butterflies are just part of the food chain. Also, it's food for others.
Yeah.
No, apart from that, they're just making the environment look beautiful with them flying around.
Yeah. So after we have done this now and we have our all butterfly or whatever species of butterfly, we need to have what happens next?
Well, like these ones that already died. Well, we collect the wings. We have boxes of wings because now we have some boys in town that they do collage.
Oh, okay.
They do like
frames, like
yeah.
picture frames.
Okay. I know some people like to put a butterfly in the middle of a book too and that kind of thing.
Yes. But the collage are nice. You could find them at the market on Saturdays. They make like dolphins or what else?
They can depict
Birds
a lot of
or
stuff
whatever.
on
A
their
jaguar.
I know this butterfly here though has two sets of wings basically.
Yeah, they have the.
Like this is two sets of wings.
Yeah, that's butterflies. They have.
Butterflies. Two sets of wings.
And if you look at it, it has a main rib that supports the.
Yes, and it's sturdy. You would think it's delicate, but it's not that delicate.
Yeah,
It's
and very interesting
sturdy.
to see the coloration of them. If you were to rub on it, you might get some of it on your fingers. And this is our little scales. It would be like fish having scales for different colors. It's similar to that.
Wow.
And when butterflies are close to die, you could notice what's going on with them. You could see their wings are all bitten up.
They start
That's age.
deteriorating on the edge.
They start to fall apart.
Yeah, like this.
But very important that even though their wings are all missing, they could still fly around. They balance with their antenna to fly around.
Antenna would be the two.
Yeah, that's the little
that's
things
cool.
there.
Yeah. Interesting. So from here we go to see the live butterflies. All right.
When we come back after a word from our partners, we will look at a portion of the museum Penados was forced to close down as a result of the effects of the COVID pandemic. He said they hope to have it up and running in the near future.
Shell V Power with 3 times more cleaning and friction reducing molecules. Go well. Go Shell. Since 2008, the Belize Natural Energy Charitable Trust has created opportunities for Belizeans to develop themselves and their communities. The trust employs tools that are intuitive, collaborative, and accessible so that every Belizean is empowered to achieve their full potential. Over 200,000 Belizeans have been impacted because of our various initiatives. The Belize Natural Energy Charitable Trust, empowering Belizeans of today to create the Belize of tomorrow.
The National Gas Company Belize Limited project became a reality because Belizeans believed in the project and invested in its development, construction, and implementation. Equity financing for the project featured investments from local enterprises as well as one foreign investor. The public-private partnership structure of the project facilitated government's ownership of a 25% stake at no cost to the taxpayers. Debt financing for the project featured the successful launch of Belize's first ever project bonds, some $30 million financed by a cross-section of institutional investors. Investments came from credit unions, notably St. Francis Xavier Credit Union and Holy Redeemer Credit Union, insurance companies, pension funds, and commercial banks. In addition, the project managed to successfully secure some $12 million in debt financing from the IDB Invest. The IDB's participation in this debt financing is a testament to their belief in the environmental, social, and governance principles taken on by the developers of this project. This project is a testament to the growth and development of Belize's financial system. It shows confidence of Belizean investors to put their money behind homegrown and developed projects that contribute to our national development. I am proud of this project, and I'm hopeful that there are many more like it to come.
The National Gas Company of Belize, fueling Belize forward.
We are the Barry, offering you great products, good service, and of course, the lowest prices in the entire country. Visit us in Belize City, Belmopan, San Ignacio Cayo, Orange, and now in San Pedro, La Isla Bonita. The Barry. Get more? Be less.
But before we go, I know this was your museum, and you had very interesting things in here, like the ecosystems of Belize, people and plants, history of Belize, the ants and the role they play in all of this and what have you. I think COVID might have caused you to not function as a museum.
Yes, as you could see, some of the panels are missing, some are down. But I'm working hard to try to get it back again, because it's good for especially for students that come here. They want to see a lot of information, and when they go from here, they are very happy. Yeah. Like, for example, the picture of the leaf-cutter ant nest. This is a true picture taken from my property behind my house.
Okay, so it shows everything with the ants, huh?
Yes, as you could see here. I mean, this is the big nest, and there's a lot of these small holes.
Yeah.
So ants will go in there, and they have a queen inside that are waiting for them. The queen is just in charge of laying eggs, and then the soldiers will be with the ones going out to bring the food inside. And actually, what they eat are not the leaves. They pile up the leaves inside the nest, and then the leaves will rotten and create a fungus. And that's what the ants will eat.
Okay, so it's like getting food and putting it up.
Yeah, you could see this is how it would look if we would be able to go in one of these little holes. This is how a human will look inside a nest.
Wow, so it's a huge nest.
It's very, very huge. You can see the amount of dirt on top, and then a lot of small holes where. Exactly.
What do you call it, the wee-wee?
Yeah, wee-wee. That's locally known wee-wee.
Don't make them bite you, because...
Oh, well, actually, they don't bite, Rene.
What bites?
They have their little...
The pincher?
Yeah, because when they bite, it's with their little rear that they have like a little injection that they would bite you. I mean, stain you. This bite, what they do, they cut you and bleed you. This can bleed you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they do bite you.
They do bite. Sorry, they
do bite you, right? But they sting you as well.
No, this doesn't sting. No, this only bite. Sorry, the red ants.
The red ants are the ones that sting. Yeah. So let's then you show me about the bats here.
Well, yes, bats. I mean, a lot of people are afraid of bats, but not all bats are bad.
We think that all the bats are vampires, and then I guess because they show you Dracula movies and so I think that...
We have one which is the vampire bat, but most of the bats that we have here are nice ones. I mean, they go nectar from flowers also, or eat rotten fruits, you know.
They help them disperse our seeds.
Yeah. You have to get this museum up again, you know.
I will.
Yeah, because I think you have a lot of knowledge in here that our children would like to know. You know, just going over a bit of it. I mean, you have much more than what we are saying. We're just tapping a few. You know, the biodiversity of our country, little insects and what have you. Then you have ants. Again, more ants. The same leaf-cutter ants.
And as you could read here, there are a lot of them.
9,500 species of ants worldwide. And then this one amazing.
The total weight.
That is serious?
Yes,
That is so?
According to researchers.
Huh?
According to researchers, I mean that's
The total weight of all the ants in the world about equals the total weight of all humans. And now we all humans and the way all ants, it will balance.
balance.
That's a new one, right? And then you talk to us about the ancient Maya, the food chain and the food webs, the ecosystems of Belize. I mean, it's just I wish you have to get this back together again so that folks can come and see.
I will
Right?
work hard to get it back again.
Yeah. You know, so yeah, I know, like you said, COVID had it almost in neglect, but I wish you would get it back again because really, and even in here, you know, the basics of insects. Insects have an armor-like shell, 6 legs, 2 antennae, 3 major body parts, usually wings, compound eyes. You know, everything that a child could learn from, you have it on these walls about the insects.
Yeah, like butterflies, they have compound eyes like flies also. They can see in different directions, but they will pay a price for this also. They don't see clear, they see blurred. So that's the reason that they are only attracted to bright colors.
Okay.
They go to yellow flowers, bright red flowers. They don't go to dull flowers.
And then you have tropical plants and pollination, strategies for survival, insect identification, how to identify the insects, the flies, the beetles, the weevils. You know, we have to come and maybe do a detailed show on how all this thing works because you have. And what I like with your wall is that it has exactly how this relate with that. You know, how this and that would relate. The different things would relate. You know. Oh. So, and where do we go now?
Then we could go inside the garden now.
Oh, this is where the butterflies are.
Yeah.
Okay.
This probably won't be that extensive because it's a big enclosure, so butterflies are flying all around. But I have a next section where everything is going on there, like they are mating, they are laying eggs in big quantities. We will be able to walk and see also.
Okay. We're inside just now, and we were looking at the owl butterfly. We're out in the outdoors, and inside what you call this?
Aviary center.
The aviary
Flight
center, the flight center, and the owl butterflies are all around us in this little area here. So this is their area, right?
Yeah. So what we have here, we have some of the owls that are feeding. If you notice, they're sticking their proboscis. That's a little antenna. It's like a little straw that they have. They puncture whatever fruit they're feeding on, or sometimes if you find them in the wild out there in different flowers, that's how they extract their nectars that they feed on. So what they normally do whenever you set fruits on the plate for them, they leave the fruit to ferment. Okay. And then they start sucking on the fermented nectar of it, you know. So if you take a look there's one that's feeding. It's trying to pierce the banana.
Yeah, it almost looks like one of those mosquito prongs, you know. But that's what it sucks.
Yeah, the proboscis is what they use for extracting the nectar. Yeah.
So that's what he's doing there. Yeah. He's feeding. All right. So, can you hold one when it's there?
Yes, you could.
Yeah.
Why don't take a nice one?
Let's try to get that out.
A nicer one.
Yeah, because.
But he's hungry because you held him just so.
Those are pretty much on the end of their lifespan because of the the deterioration on their wings. See, so this is what I was telling you inside there when we saw the.
See the owl. Yeah, turn it around.
Yeah, so this is what.
That's what you were showing.
And this is.
And that's a live one.
In the wild to deter predators.
And then, where do I hold? Hold the wing here?
Yeah, right through the. If you do it from the main vein, it's much better. Yeah.
Oh, from the main vein, okay. Wow. So if I let him go, he'll just fly, right?
He'll just fly away.
Okay, so I just. There he goes. Wow, nice. This is an experience I think most people would want to have, you know, because. Not many of us get the opportunity to just really hold a butterfly like that.
Let's do the next section where...
We have another section.
We have a next section where what I said that most of the butterflies are in there.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah.
You lead the way.
Okay, apart from the owl butterflies, I have a few blue morpho which I started to raise now, and then I have like the malachite, the postman, the Paradis arcas, the zebras, and in good times I could raise up to 30 different species.
Okay.
Yeah, which is a little harder for me because mostly is each butterfly has their own plant, so I have to go around looking for those plants.
No. So these plants are special to this type of butterfly, and the plants you had over there are special to that type.
A lot of these plants
But this
are
is
just
citrus.
this is just a wild plant. But I mean, most of the plants that I have here are decoration. Some are nectar plants, and then a few are host plants. That's where the butterflies will lay their eggs.
Okay. So they wouldn't lay on this, right?
No,
What's that?
a snail.
That's a snail?
Yeah,
So
small.
the snail will come and lay on the leaf, though?
Yeah, but they don't. It's not a threat for the butterflies.
Okay. We go this side?
Leaf, and this is like a Heliconia leaf. And you can see the fresh eggs. These were probably laid early today.
Okay.
So these are very, very white in color. So you know that they're very fresh. And this is the same owl that we were looking at in the breeding area.
And the one we saw,
Yeah.
they're eating a while
Yeah.
ago.
So they would feed. They will alternate their host plants. You know, they're all in the Heliconia family, like the banana plant. They can also feed on that as well. So you see the
So you'll move this maybe tomorrow morning?
Yeah, we can move them today. We can move them today or tomorrow morning. There's not a problem. As long as they don't get like the ones that are in here, because these are probably infected already.
Okay.
They are brownish in color.
Yeah, the color doesn't look like the ones in there.
Yeah. So these are
These
fresh.
look fresh.
Yeah. So in a few days you'll start to see a little black rim around it. Then you know that the embryo is starting to develop in there. So they are fresh because they're fully white. So if we move on to the other area.
We will continue our tour of the Tropical Wings Nature Center in San Jose Succotz, and Rene Villanueva tries his hand at disc golf. We have that for you after a word from our partners, the National Gas Company, Shell Belize Limited, B&E Charitable Trust, and the Barry.
Shell V-Power with 3 times more cleaning and friction-reducing molecules. Go well. Go Shell. Since 2008, the Belize Natural Energy Charitable Trust has created opportunities for Belizeans to develop themselves and their communities. The trust employs tools that are intuitive, collaborative, and accessible so that every Belizean is empowered to achieve their full potential. Over 200,000 Belizeans have been impacted because of our various initiatives. The Belize Natural Energy Charitable Trust, empowering Belizeans of today to create the Belize of tomorrow.
The National Gas Company Belize Limited project became a reality because Belizeans believed in the project and invested in its development, construction, and implementation. Equity financing for the project featured investments from local enterprises as well as one foreign investor. The public-private partnership structure of the project facilitated government's ownership of a 25% stake at no cost to the taxpayers. Debt financing for the project featured the successful launch of Belize's first ever project bonds, some $30 million financed by a cross-section of institutional investors. Investments came from credit unions, notably St. Francis Xavier Credit Union and Holy Redeemer Credit Union, insurance companies, pension funds, and commercial banks. In addition, the project managed to successfully secure some $12 million in debt financing from the IDB Invest. The IDB's participation in this debt financing is a testament to their belief in the environmental, social, and governance principles taken on by the developers of this project. This project is a testament to the growth and development of Belize's financial system. It shows confidence of Belizean investors to put their money behind homegrown and developed projects that contribute to our national development. I am proud of this project, and I'm hopeful that there are many more like it to come.
The National Gas Company of Belize, fueling Belize forward.
We are the Barry, offering you great products, good service, and of course, the lowest prices in the entire country. Visit us in Belize City, Belmopan, San Jose Cayo, Orange, and now in San Pedro, La Isla Bonita. The Barry. Get more? Feel less.
Okay, so
Yeah, this area is for them to have their privacy. They would mate here, they will lay their eggs here, so they're happier in this section here.
so we have invaded their home, basically.
Yes, we.
But how
So
many will you have in here right now? It's quite a lot.
Yeah, there's a couple of hundreds in here.
Couple of hundreds, right?
Yeah. So what we're doing here is, pre-COVID we were doing it in the big aviary center, in the flight center. But since we're starting back up again the population, it's easier to have them in a small concentrated area so that for mass production,
And this is the all butterfly
Yes,
only.
Yes, only butterflies.
Only
the adult
only the
butterflies.
all butterfly, because
Yeah.
this seems to be the one in most demand.
Yeah, well, it's a bigger species, so you want to full up the flight area with bigger species. Then we have smaller species that are much more difficult to start breeding and keeping in the flight area as well. So we want to start with what's easy, start creating numbers, and then we start with the other ones that are a little bit harder to reproduce. And if you see here, we have different boxes where we have the.
Okay, so
Okay, so you see different species here. We have the owl and the blue Morphos.
oh, these are blue morphos.
Yeah, those are the chrysalids or the pupas for the blue Morphos
It's different from the one for the
for the owls.
oh.
So they blend very good in nature. So if you would try to find one of those in leaves, it's very difficult to the human eye.
Okay. But you don't have any blue morphos flying around here right now. I
Yes,
just
we
see.
should have in the bigger flight area.
Okay. This is an experience I think anybody would like to have. Just standing here and looking at the butterflies just flying around. They're all around. I mean, if you look behind you, Chris, they're all over the place, right? Look there. Right, all around. That's what you do. Why not call enough?
There's something that I call happy hour between 5 and 6.
Yeah.
You have happy hour between 5 and 6. What happens to in happy hour?
You come in, sit here, and you don't need to be knocking for them to.
They get very active after hours, because they're species that fly around late in the evening to feed, So we have a lot of species. The smaller species would be active throughout the day, but these guys would be more active around 5, 6 o'clock in the evening and early in the morning.
Okay. Wow. So as you can notice, I have a few friends, right? This one is an old one. This is an old guy here. See? He's an older guy. Just like you explained to me in there that the wings
Start deteriorating.
start to deteriorate. Look at it.
The
wings are deteriorating.
The age itself.
See, it even drops a bit more before he flies. Then I have.
Back again.
He can't. It's another. Oh, the old ones seem attracted to me. And
On the other side, you have a fresh one.
this one.
Yeah.
All right, there's this one. And then another one here. This is quite an experience. I just to pick up a butterfly, lift it up like that, and then let it go and see it fly away. That's a unique experience. Yeah. And I wish more folks would try it, then they would understand what I'm talking about. You know, just come in here, do that, and then look at it. See, struggling to survive. Well, what going on there? Then you just.
But if you try to do that in the wild, probably you won't get the chance. In the wild, they're very fast and they're always flying very high. Yeah, so it's difficult to catch them in the wild. Okay. In the past, what we used to do to introduce new species or new populations here, we go out in the property. It's 22 acres of land that we have, and most of it is still, natural vegetation. And we go out there with nets, especially when it's the dry season. We go out there hunting for butterflies, and we bring them in, introduce new fresh batch, for them to start mating. So we discourage the interbreeding, You don't want to have the same family, the line of family breeding with the same older ones, Yeah. So we bring in new batches every once in a while.
But one of the things that I want to explain, that you need to know what you're doing, because it doesn't matter how much butterflies you go and collect and you just dump it in here. If you don't have their correct host plant, they will never reproduce. So you have to know their host plants also.
So it's not about catching butterflies, taking it home, and deciding, well, okay, I'll try and raise some butterflies. You need to know scientifically what plant that butterfly will feed on.
So you need to be like a self-taught botanist to start with. Yeah, you got to be a self-taught botanist or you want to start this business. If you want to join the venture, you need to do a research on plants before you actually get into breeding butterflies. And that's what Mr. Tino started doing, years ago. He started teaching himself, So
he's an expert now. Yeah. But do you teach others, don't you know? If somebody would come and say, okay, I want you to teach me how to open my own apiary, you call it?
Yeah.
And butterfly center. Do you teach?
Yes, I am not this kind of person that learn things and just keep it to myself. Like the latest family that came here is the Biafranco family from close to Dangriga, a little village there. They came and I am assisting them on learning about butterflies.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So if I would like to set up a butterfly center at my place,
my advice to people that want to start like a butterfly farm, butterfly garden is, first of all, you need to do a survey around your property and see what kind of host plants do you have, so you don't have to go running far away to get their plants. No. So whatever is close around, that's the same butterflies that you can start raising.
Yeah, it's an amazing experience, like I said, and I would encourage anyone to come and try it and visit you and learn about butterflies.
I have gained experience through these years because it's not the only butterfly that you see flying around that I am familiar with. I do experiments. I have more than 30 species of butterflies that I can raise because I know their host plants.
Okay. Excellent.
One of the very important things that we want to stress as a butterfly center here is that it's not only about us. There's other centers as well that you can visit throughout the country. We work along with Mr. Brian Young from Chakrick Lodge. Okay. Those guys are doing a great job with sharing their knowledge as well. And we have good relations with Mr. Brian. So, it's nice to see that we all can get along in this venture, because we're spreading the knowledge that we have. Mr. Tino started it on his own and sharing with us, and we want to keep on doing that, So
it's all about Belize, right?
Yeah, it's all about Belize. That's what we.
Belize.
Yeah, it's not only about the the recognition that you want to have for yourself, but you also want to spread the knowledge, because once you're gone, your name still lives on, So.
Right. Now tell me, to find this butterfly farm, describe the address for me properly, so that if anybody who wants to come and visit you, how do you tell them to find you?
Okay, so it's very basic. Heading down towards the well-known or recognized Shunantonich Mayan Temple in San Jose Succotz. We're right along the highway. You're going to see our sign at 71.5 George Price Highway. And once you're coming in, there's a fuel station that you cannot miss. It's the Mapan fuel station. And right after that, on your left-hand side, coming down from San Ignacio towards San Jose Succotz, you're going to see our sign up there. or if you're coming from the border, on the right-hand side.
What about schools who want to make reservations?
They can call Mr. Tino, and he can give you the contact information.
Okay, then Tino?
Yes, my contact number is cell phone 660-9708.
660-9708.
Email tinopenados@yahoo.com.
Tino Penados, TINOPENADOS @yahoo.com. Well, Tino and Hugo, I want to thank you so much for showing me the butterfly farm and again. But I like to do something before I leave, and that is to at least one throw at this golf. Right? You'll have to remind me how to do it, though.
Sure, Hugo. I mean, he's pretty good. Also, I mean, I'm about to retire of the game. Also, I've been too much on the game, so Hugo will show you some. Although I will throw some disc also.
Okay, Hugo.
It's very
deal,
humble.
right?
Yeah, it's very humble from Mr. Tino trying to retire after many wins. You know, he's pretty much one of the champions on his category. You know, so you can't take that away from him up to now. But yes, it's always a pleasure, and we always invite people to come over and try the sport. You know, we want to introduce it to Belize as much as we can. You know, make sure every kid in school learns about it. We want to make sure that it becomes something that kids want to enjoy every day, because it's very healthy. It takes away your stress, whatever you're going through the day. If you go and do your 18 rounds or at least 9 rounds in the property, it just keeps you busy, keeps you active.
How many points you go from point to point? How many
it's similar to golf, to the little regular golf that you play pars. So each hole would have a different par, a different amount of number of shots that you can throw, and they would be determined according to the distance. So depending on maybe if it's a 350 footer, like the distance, maybe you can do it in three shots. So it would be a par 3. But if you actually get it in 2 shots, then you're 1 point below, or like a 1 under par.
Yeah.
And that's what you want to do. You always want to keep your numbers under rather than above par.
Yeah.
So that's how you determine who's your winner in a competition.
So I'll come back for a game, but for right now, at least I want to do 1 throw. Right? Is that okay with you?
Then you would have to compete with me.
Deal.
I think it's 50 plus.
That's a challenge then.
There's not a 70 plus, so 50 plus would be the.
50 plus.
Yeah.
I would be in the 70 plus if there was a 70 plus.
I'm 60 plus.
Right. So we go outside, right? Okay.
For recreational or tournaments, you want to have the full bag with your arsenal, if you want to call it. So there's different discs that you use for different occasions. So if you're throwing like a long distance shot, you would use the maximum distance, and they all have a number. So a flight of a speed of 13, that would be like the maximum throw. Then you have a glide of 6, a turn of -3, and just a skip of 2, right? A glide of 2, fade of 2. So you want to use something like this to throw a long distance shot. It has a very well-defined rim that cuts through the air. Then you have.
Opponent would want to use something like that as well.
For
right?
a long distance, yes.
Yeah.
Now, if you're throwing. Throwing shorter distances, you want to have something like a fairway driver, which the rim is a lot thinner than that one. So gives you less distance but more accurate shots. So if you want to have something that you want to angle differently, then you go by the
in a game, can you change this?
Yeah, you can change as much this as you want. One shot per disc. Okay. So if you're doing a par 4, you can use four different discs. So this would be another disc that you have like a putt and approach, which is a much thinner rim. So it's thinner than this one. This is much wider, if you notice. So this is for a shorter distance as well, and more accurate shot. And we also have the putters, and this one is for very short distances, but very accurate as well. So this is what you want to use whenever you're closer to the basket. Okay, so. Different.
So this can drop here, and I can leave
wherever you throw it. For example, if I'm throwing all the way from down there and it lands up here, then what you do, you mark your lie, or where the disc lands. So you take out your marker. This is what we call the marker. You set it in front of your disc, and then you have a spot where you're going to throw from.
And then you determine which disc you will use after that.
For example, from here to there, you can use the mid-range.
Mid-range. This would be this one.
This one.
This one.
This one.
So, and the throw would be,
There's
do
different
not
techniques.
throw, make we
There's
see.
different techniques. You use the backhand technique, which is this, and then you do the sidearm technique, which is you set your fingers on the rim, and then you grab it on the other side.
Okay.
You want to hold it as hard as you can so that it doesn't wobble off your hand. So you angle it. So if you know that your disc normally glides to the left at the end of the flight, you want to angle it, you know,
Okay. So we're gonna-
on the different
the
area.
top of the basket there.
So that's a basket there. So what we use, so what you want to do, I know that my disc ends up to the right most of the time, so I want to use it to the left. So I'm throwing with a little angle.
Okay.
It's somewhere around there, but it hit the tree.
Okay.
The cane, the sugar cane.
Let me try one.
Okay, Mr. Penados. You try yours now.
This is not my disc, so I don't know this disc. I have my own bag, but let me try.
See, it turns to the right. So what you want to put it in. At the distance where I landed just now, that's a fairway driver. So I'm closer to the basket now. So from there on, I can use the putter just to put it inside the basket. So when you're playing long distances, it depends on how many shots you do. It also goes in par with the amount of numbers that you
have up to 13 baskets, you say?
18 baskets. total.
18
In the
baskets.
property, yeah, it's 22 acres of land.
So you
that
go
we
basket to basket to basket, and who gets the less
the
points?
least points possible.
Possible. All right. So how would I throw this now?
Yeah. Okay. You can do.
I can do that. So
Show it anyway.
Yeah, just to show you the backhand technique.
okay, I don't know no technique at all.
Okay. So it depends on what you feel comfortable with. Yes. Yes. Angle it around the plants and you're good to go. Yes. So you're getting it there. So now if we move.
Well, again, gentlemen, thank you so much. Pleasure and a privilege, Hugo, to know you and to be here with you. Thank you so much. My friend Tino, all the best, man. And thank you for having me here. And I'll come and play a disc with you next time I'm here.
You know that you are always welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for making me feel so special. Right? And you know, all this is about love. And so, from San Jose Succotz, we say, Belize and beyond, thanks for choosing love. Belize Watch. Knowledge of the past, impacting the present, building the future.